This is a messy one. We're going to need some equations. There's no real good way to do it. If we had answer choices, we might be able to guess and check here, and you still could maybe figure it out, but I don't think that it's very efficient without the calculator. So we're going to need to do some algebra. The key piece here is, though, show your work. So we need to make sure when we're creating equations from facts that we're really paying attention to things, because the wording might be confusing, and if we get the wrong equation from the text, we're going to have a hard time knowing that it's wrong because algebra is so difficult for our brain to kind of think about. So we need to really be careful. I'm going to start with the easier equation, which is actually in the second sentence here. So that's this one. If 2 hamburgers and 3 orders of fries have a total of 1,700 calories. So when we have a rate, 2 hamburgers times however many calories are in a hamburger, we are going to, use multiplication. I kind of just said it. 2h plus 3f equals 1,700, right? So there's a certain number of calories in the hamburger. That's what we're trying to solve for. And there's a certain number of calories in the fries, and if we have 2 hamburgers, we're going to have twice whatever that value is, 3 times the fries, right? So it's multiplication. So that, I think, is the more intuitive equation. The first one is a little problematic. Each hamburger has 50 more calories than each order of fries. It's just, in my experience, people tend to mess this up. So, should I do it the wrong way? Yeah, let's do it the wrong way. H plus 50 equals F. Okay, I wrote it out of the way so we wouldn't mess it up. That's the wrong equation, but it sounds kind of right. Look, I mean, if we look at the text, it kind of, in a way, you could see how it matches with what is written there. But it's backwards. And the way that we can easily test this stuff, I highly recommend doing this. Just know that you're likely to make a mistake, and just, this is a pause to make sure we don't make it. Try a number in the sentence and in the equation. They should produce the same result, right? So this is arithmetizing in a way, right? I'm not actually guessing the number of calories in a hamburger, but I'm going to just for a second pretend that that number is 100. Because then according to the sentence, the fries should have 50 calories, right? 100 calories in a hamburger is supposed to be 50 more calories than the order of fries. So, okay, 100 is 50 more than 50, right? It's kind of smushed in there, but 50. Now, let's plug that in the equation though, right? If I did 100 plus 50, I wouldn't get 50, I would get 150. So what I've just shown is that my equation is wrong. And it's you know, you might not have made this mistake, but I think it's still worth it to test because this mistake is very likely when you're moving fast, right? We're on question 19, we're probably running out of time, and the algebra is confusing, and we know how the SAT tells us stuff. It's usually kind of meant to be a little backwardsy so that we make these kinds of mistakes. So there's a lot of stuff working against us. This is one way that you can kind of push back. Just pick a number for a second, test it out, make sure that the sentence with the number matches the equation with the number. Now, how would I fix it? Well, it's actually that H is equal to F plus 50, right? Because the hamburger is the number of calories in the fries plus an extra 50. So it's the fries that have a smaller value, then we're adding 50 to that to get the hamburger. And if we use my 100, it makes sense, right? 100 calories for the hamburger would be equal to 50 plus 50, the fries plus the additional 50. So checks out, and now we know we're good. We can proceed with the question. And this is a system of equations. We've had a lot of these in this section, but now we've got a story on top of it, but it shouldn't matter. We want to take these two equations and mush them together in a way that gets rid of one of the variables. And my second equation is so conveniently written for this. Basically, you just need to substitute. So we're taking, since H is by itself, we're going to take this other equation and substitute it in for H in the first equation. So really what happens is we're going to have 2, I'm going to use the colors here, times F plus 50 plus 3F is equal to 1,700, okay? And there's other moves you could have made at this point, but I think this is the most intuitive move, so I'm doing it this way because I want to kind of follow the way that you probably think about it. The next move then is to distribute. So that's going to be 2f plus 100 plus 3f is equal to 1700. Combine like terms, we get 5f plus 100 is equal to 1700. Subtract 100. I'm going fast here because now we're just in regular old algebra territory. Is 1600. And then finally we got to divide by 5. And this is where people get kind of messed up. But, you know, my advice is just do some long division. 1600 divided by 5. 5 goes into 16 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract, we get 1. Drop the 0. 5 goes into 10 twice. And there's nothing left over, so 320 calories for the fries. But that is not our answer. Because what did they want? They wanted the calories in a hamburger. This is why we show our work, right? Showing your work is not just about showing the math. It's about understanding the question. We underlined the question because I was afraid that I would do exactly what I did here. Solve for the wrong thing. But it's okay because it's really easy to solve for h. We just take my equation and we now substitute f in. We could choose either equation, but this is absolutely the easier one. So h is equal to 320 plus 50. So that is equal to 370, which is the actual answer. This is a lot of work, and this is why I'm kind of frustrated with this section, is we have so many of these systems of equations, and these are just notoriously like difficult questions algebraically. The process is pretty familiar and repetitive, but it's a long process, and there are a lot of opportunities for mistakes, especially when we put a story on top of that. So this is a weird section because there's so many of these. It's an old test. Hopefully they're not going to do that to you, but you still need to know all of these things. Even if they don't all appear in one test or one section, they are still things that could appear, and so you do need to know how to do them. And showing your work, especially with a system, is so important, and that includes this testing of numbers. Highly recommend that move. It'll save you points in the long run.